Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Zenkai for Legends Limited, Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta. Now obviously these guys got a Zenkai relatively soon, I'd say after release. They have struggled since coming out. They kind of brought in the standby mechanic. Their standby ability is really good, but then they created sealing, which could prevent them, and just a whole bunch of stuff that kind of countered them. And then outside of that mechanic, they just weren't that great. So it was kind of like a weird situation where the mechanic still felt really good. The rest of the kit felt a little bit substandard. So we're going to see just how good they are. Now, obviously with the Zenkai so soon, we're only going to probably see little tweaks in numbers, a lot more smaller, or I should say a lot smaller than you probably see from like a normal kind of Zenkai. In terms of their main ability, nothing too much has changed. Actually, in fact, their main ability actually remains pretty much identical to what it was before. They gain a little bit more ki now in switching when their gauge isn't full. So they get 40 ki now comparative to the 25 that they got before. But pretty much everything else is actually almost, or is pretty much identical to what it was. So their unique gauge still functions exactly the same. Everything functions the same. The Transcendent Kamehameha functions exactly the same. The sealing effects function exactly the same. So it's all very much the same. The only difference is that when they switch when gauge isn't full, they get a bit more ki, which is fine. The unique mechanic didn't have to change. Like I mentioned before, it was a very powerful, very good mechanic. Their passives have changed quite a bit, so they now have 130% damage inflicted, not 90%, which is really good. They have 70% damage reduction instead of obviously having 65%, and the 130 can now not be cancelled, whereas before 40% of it could be cancelled. They then obviously have a little bit more in terms of like basically their standard effects. Their damage and everything no longer resets when they switch, which is really good. And then basically besides that, they're just really solid. Overall, yeah, I think for the most part there's nothing too bad. When the unique gauge fills, that all remains effect. And then the big difference is obviously their two new passives. When they land a strike card, they get plus 10% to strike arts damage, minus 2 to strike arts cost. And then when landing a blast it, they get plus 10 to blast arts damage, minus 2 to blast arts cost subsequently. This helps a bit with comboing for them, which they had a big problem with before. And then resolve to end battle. Basically, they nullify ki reduction effects, and they reduce the enemy ki as well when they are hit with an attack. So this is all kind of tempo control abilities, obviously designed to kind of give them a really good increase to their tempo control, which they really struggled with. And with all the key down and card speed down, this is kind of mandatory for them to really compete in the current meta. So like beyond that, obviously a couple things as well. Their Legends Limited or their Zenkai boost is for Goku's family or Vegeta's family, which is very interesting. So they provide a boost to Goku's family. They provide a boost to Vegeta clan, and this I think is very good. The fact that they are a double boost. It does come at the cost of a bit of the stats though. So now they no longer apply the same level of the usual Zenkai boost stats, but if a character meets both requirements, they should get both buffs. So it could be really niche and really good for certain characters, but mainly obviously with Legends Limited, it's to see if their Zenkai boost makes them competitive rather than whether it is just boosting the team, unlike Sparkings where it's the boost is a bit more important because that's what they're there for. So yeah, I'd say overall the changes are good. Definitely a lot of tempo stuff which they needed. They just couldn't combo. They didn't have a lot of combo ability. Now they seemingly have that, and they have a little bit less cancelable buffs. They have ability to hold their buffs a bit longer, and so they're just a bit more interesting from that perspective. In terms of how you get the Zenkai power, it's obviously the Zenkai Battle Rush, or Zenkai Rush Battle. then you also obviously can technically summon for it if you're really impatient. And of course, you also can get it from the missions as well. So a fairly good persistence in units, or in a way to get it, obviously the standard way. The units that they boost, generally for me, I think it's a bit difficult to say right off the bat, like who's going to benefit the most. But I think the clear beneficiary is obviously themselves from their Zenkai, but I think also the blue Super Vegeta unit, because I believe that's also Goku and Vegeta. So that transforming unit from the anniversary, really solid. Obviously quite an important unit, and them getting a Zenkai boost is really good. It's a good thing in the long run. So I think that's probably the most notable unit. Obviously Legends Limited Vegeta, sure. Legends Limited Kid Goku, sure. Legends Limited Super Saiyan Goku, sure. But remember, this is not a full Zenkai boost, so it's not like you're getting the same output out of them. But yeah, I'd say generally speaking, really good stuff. So yeah, but that's that is pretty much it for me. Honestly, I think it's a good Zenkai overall, and I think ultimately, it's not bad. I think it's really solid. So let's take a look and see how good it is in the long run. But for me, that is pretty much it. Bye.